Hey everyone, it's Kay, aka Purple Teapot. Let's talk about the season 3 finale promo of New Amsterdam. And as usual, here is your spoiler warning. There will be a lot of spoilers because I'm also going to be talking about the still shots from the episode. But before I get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's start. Let's talk about Iggy and this storyline with Chance. I got a feeling Chance is gonna pop up again. Maybe he escapes wherever's holding him, whether it's a mental health hospital or prison. I don't know where he's going. And then now he's like super angry at Iggy because Iggy was like, no, I'm not gonna call the police. I'm not gonna tell Martin I killed my brother. No, you didn't kill your brother. You were lying. Actually, also understand why he was lying, because he was fearing for his life, because those scenes were so intense. Iggy was trending on US Twitter because of these scenes, and Tyler did a great job. He really did. We were all scared. I was like, so is this the day he's going to die? I was like, how is this going to resolve? Like, they're in the woods. I feel like there's gonna be like a showdown, maybe a fire, because you know Chance is known for his infamous fires, not in a good way. I definitely think it's gonna be a kill or be killed situation in this episode. Someone has to die. Who will it be? Iggy? It's either you or Chance, or one of your kids or your husband. You have to pick, because Chance is not going to stop until someone's dead. He's done it before. He's a murderer. He murdered his family. Tell me what you think is gonna happen with Iggy in this episode. Also, how many kids does this man have? Because it feels like every single time they add a new child to this family, because there must be, is there like 5 of them? I thought there was only 3, and do they add a new one sneakily every season? I know he did try and adopt more, but like, do you need any more? Because like, I can't even keep count. So Floyd, what's up? Breakfast in bed? Okay, I see you. Someone play blurred lines, because these lines are so blurred, especially for Floyd. He's never been in this situation, and you can tell. I knew after last night's episode he wasn't gonna stay away, and honestly, why would he? Look at them. Floyd has never ever had chemistry with any of the women he's supposedly been with on this show. I don't know why I'm saying supposedly. Like, his mouth says one thing, then his body language says a completely different thing. This is next level. Like, I feel like he's gonna come to understanding that she's not going to leave her husband anytime soon, even though I know we all want her to leave her husband for Floyd, even though she's only been, I'm saying even though a lot, only been on the show a couple of episodes. Floyd and Lyn are just chef's kiss, hashtag black love. But then I don't think I could use hashtag black love, because it's more of a situationship and she's married to somebody else. Okay, so question, why didn't Leyla say I love you back to Lauren? Did anybody miss that? Was there a scene at the beginning that she said I'm confused? It made me like think that something's missing. So the next episode, like, the Dean is going to extort Lauren. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I feel like it's gonna be part of the cliffhanger. Like, I want to also know who this Dean is. Is it the Dean of Medicine at New Amsterdam? Because I know that's not a Dean of Medicine at New Amsterdam that Max agrees with. I'm just hoping that this doesn't end up being messy, because Lauren is finally happy and soft, and she hasn't gone out of her way to irritate me the last couple episodes. I like that, because I used to love Lauren, but then at the beginning of this season she was being a big Karen. But let me not talk about that. Okay, now let's talk about Max and Helen. So this week's episode, we saw Sharpwin have a conversation about Max fighting for the things that he loves. I hope he fights for his relationship with Helen and doesn't give up. We know he's going to make mistakes. Come on now, Max is an idiot. He's going to mess up at some point, but I hope they're not as big as the ones he made with Georgia. Helen won't stand for the things he pulled back then. I also understand that Max and Helen's communication is much better than the communication he ever had with Georgia, which is already a plus. I think in this episode, Helen is going to realize that she needs to take some time off for herself, because ever since Max came to the hospital, she's been working overdrive and she needs a break. And I think London is the best place for her to have a break. She can visit family and show Mina a side to her that she hasn't shown anybody properly since Mohammed. I imagine she took Mohammed to London. 100%. I do think that in this episode Max and Helen do go on a date, and I'm thinking it might be to the tavern, and I think this all happens before she goes to London, and I'll talk about that in a minute. While they're on this date, Helen tells him about the plans that she has to go to London, and she probably tells him she doesn't know when she's gonna come back. And I think that's why they look so awkward. I'm also thinking it's awkward because, you know, Max is super awkward, especially when it comes to first date. We've seen him have 2 first dates already on this show and cringe. It's just because of his personality. And after this date, they probably end up in the hospital because there's an emergency that Max has to deal with, probably. Like, she looks disappointed, like she's leaving, and she doesn't really want to leave because they just started what they had both built up for over 2 years. But in the end, she knows that leaving is what's best for her now. She's had a stressful 2+ years with Max as medical director, with everything that's happened, and it's time for her to take a little break. Now let's talk about why I think the tavern is in New York and it's not a date set in London. So in season 1, episode 1, she invites him to the tavern, and I can imagine Max asking her out and thinking, oh, we should go to the tavern because that's where we were meant to go 2 years ago, but this time it's a date. So some people think the scene is in London, and I don't think it's in London. So if you look on Twitter, find the user at the Board Fox, you should follow them. They've got some great stuff on there. They've got a thread of finale spoilers, like location spoilers and stuff like that. And from what I can see, it looks like a British style tavern, aka pub in New York. I've never seen a pub in this country that looks like this location, but when I went to New York, there was lots of restaurants and bars that looked just like it. I feel like if it was actually London, they would have found a place that actually looks like a British pub. It's not like they don't have the budget. I was trying to work out what side of the road they were driving on, but everyone seemed to be driving in the middle of the road from what I was seeing in the promos, and I don't think there's much evidence from the promo pictures and the promo video from NBC and Global TV that suggests that he's going to London, other than him saying, I miss you, I need to see you. But I'm not ruling it out because it still could happen just because it's not in the promo. And the way that this promo was edited was very confusing. I think that they've clipped together a load of clips to make it look a certain way, and it's not going to end up the way that we think it's going to. I do think after she goes to London, they will find each other 100%, whether it's in New York or London. And I can't wait for Sharp Win. I'm being optimistic about them and really hoping we do get a kiss this episode. It's what we deserve. We've waited 3 seasons for this. It's what we deserve, especially after waiting a year for the show to restart. I know Shauna said that there was going to be an engagement, and if anybody gets engaged, it's going to be Lauren and Leyla. There's no time for Helen and Max to get engaged. Why would they rush an engagement for a relationship that just started? Well, it didn't just start, but you know what I mean. Just officially started. They wouldn't just rush into it. I feel like if Max did propose in this episode, Helen would be like, Max, really, we just started dating. And I don't think there's gonna be a big enough time jump for me to be okay with an engagement. I just don't see that for them anytime soon. And I don't think Max is gonna be like, yes, let me get married again after his first marriage failed so hard. I want to see him put in work in his relationship with Helen before he proposes. I want to see that he's ready. He's taken his ring off in this episode. Max isn't gonna take off one ring to put another one anytime soon. Maybe they'll get engaged in season 5, 6, 7, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if they'll get married at all. I'm just gonna be honest, I just don't want to see a Sharp Win wedding right now. It's like, why would they go so slow and then move so fast so quickly? I just don't think it makes sense. I think it would be more logical that Lauren and Leyla get engaged. One thing I do know, if we don't get good Sharp Win content this episode, me and my homegirls are going to be flying out, and I'm going to be an accidental extra on the show. Part of me doesn't trust the promotional material of the show because they show us what they want us to show us so that the ratings skyrocket next episode. Because one thing they do know is Sharp Win sells. After episode 12, their ratings went up quite a bit. Anyways, here are my predictions for these cliffhangers, because the showrunner David Shauna said that there's going to be 5 cliffhangers. I only have 3 predictions. Number 1, maybe Lauren and Leyla's engagement might be a cliffhanger, I don't know. I also had like this crazy idea where her fiance from Pakistan flies all the way to New York and knocks on the door and asks Layla where she's been. But let me be quiet. My second prediction is Floyd meets Lyn's husband and they fight. If you've seen that still of Floyd, my bets would be on him. He's so fine. And my third prediction is Iggy kills Chance. My friend JD pointed out to me yesterday that Iggy hasn't been part of the cliffhangers. Like in season 1, he wasn't part of the cliffhangers. So maybe he's part of the cliffhangers this season. Maybe all the cliffhangers are all about him, all 5 of them. Maybe the 5 cliffhangers are his kids. Let me be quiet. I'm not really sure what to guess for Sharpwin for the cliffhangers. Part of me does not want there to be a Sharpwin cliffhanger. There can be a Max cliffhanger or a Helen cliffhanger, but not a Sharpwin one. You know what I mean? Max's cancer could come back, but I feel like they shouldn't pursue that storyline just yet. Like, they should leave that for season 5 so that they can get a season 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, as many seasons as they need. As I say, nothing's set in stone because I am not a writer. I have the same information as you. Nothing is set in stone, and I'm just letting my imagination go wild. Tell me your predictions in my comments. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter at PurpleTeapot1. And if you want, share this video with a friend. Bye guys. Somebody